Tell us what you think. In person, over the phone, online. Watch and hear yourself on TV. You tell us, we air it. This is The Local Live.
Good evening, Larchmont and Mamaroneck. I'm Anthony Carlo. Welcome to The Local Live, the only TV news program dedicated to the Mamaroneck and Larchmont communities. Before we start the show, we want to let you know that starting next Friday, October 24th, LMC TV will run a 3-week special series called Terror TV. The program, produced by Dina Schumacher, Matt Sullivan, and Chris Lavinia, is a throwback to the Elvira and late-night creature features made popular in the 70s and 80s. Each week, host Demonica Diablo will guide viewers through 3 feature-length films with her gaggle of ghouls. This is a must-see for horror and late-night TV fans. Now, information on this series will be posted shortly to the LMC TV website at www.lmctv.org. Well, folks, we have a lot in store for you this evening, so without further ado, let's get it started. Who's better source than our school district superintendent when it comes to the state of our local schools? Stay tuned for a very special live interview with Dr. Robert Shaps. Why is Harborview Condominiums in litigation with the Village of Mamaroneck? The candidates for Village Trustee held a forum to discuss the residents' concerns. Some Village of Mamaroneck residents were upset at the latest municipal meeting. We will tell you why. Love beer intense? Mamaroneck hosts its first ever International Beer Festival. And meet Romeo, our handsome furry friend looking to give you all of his love. On Wednesday, October 15th, the current candidates for the Village of Mamaroneck trustee positions held a candidates night at Harborview Condominiums on Boston Post Road. Moderated by Harborview board member Paul Miklas, the primary focus of the forum was a pipe breakage on the building's 3rd floor. Now, in January of 2013, because of the significant water damage to one of the building's wings, the acting volunteer fire chief ordered all residents to leave the building and had his crew break open any locked doors to verify that nobody remained inside. Despite the presence of the residents and building superintendent, who had keys to all doors in the building, many were destroyed. 27-year-old resident Elizabeth Romani said, quote, "A policeman and fireman came to my door, knocked on it, and told me I had to leave immediately. They escorted me out of the building and chopped my door down," end quote. Charles Jordan, a 3rd-floor resident of the undamaged wing of the building, was allegedly told by a firefighter that his door was fine left locked, so long as it was ajar. The building would be swept by the fire department and the doors shut and locked. His door was also destroyed. Due to the water damage sustained in condos that could not be secured without doors, the building was declared condemned and only reopened to residents after 27 days. During this period, Paul Miklas stated that the condominium incurred a $74,000 bill with the village police to secure the building. This bill is not covered by the building's insurance, as it was incurred after the water damage, and it is the impetus for the pending litigation. That's impetus, sorry. We'll bring you further updates on this story as it develops. The Mamaroneck Board of Trustees met on Tuesday night to discuss a variety of topics, but what stood out was the public's outrage about the board's decision to move public comment from their first item to their 5th on the agenda. This decision took place on September 22nd, but village residents are reacting now.
I think if you want to sort of switch things up a little bit, put the mayor's report at the back, because frankly that's the least interesting series of events that take up a lot of time. So I think the public is really more important than the individual groups the mayor may want to focus on. And I think that either the public comment should be at the very beginning, or both should be at the very beginning, or the mayor's comment should be at the end. But I think it is disrespectful to push the public to the very end. Thank you.
And if you're going to have public meetings a la dictatorship like you do, then you should at least put the time that the public opinions come in. If it's not going to be till 10 o'clock, at least put it down. Have the decency to recognize that the most important aspect of this village are its people.
Yeah, you have people who do come up often and speak on every issue, but most of the people who come up, I've noticed, have had head-on collisions with this village over matters of law and neighborhood issues, and they aren't resolved, and these people have done a lot of research to understand what's going on, and they know what they're talking about, but, you know, it's just, something that you have to, as a board, acknowledge the pains that some people have with the village and figure out a way. You know, there's a way to deal with things. It's not just next, next, next.
Should the Village of Mamaroneck keep their original meeting agenda ordered to please the residents, or does the new schedule have benefits? Tell us what you think on Twitter @TheLocalLive. Remember, if you want to watch this whole meeting, it is available online at our website at www.lmctv.org. What's trending this week in our online media and local newspapers? Let's check it out.
Surveys and rankings lead local media stories. Rhinebeck and Mamaroneck school districts have highly paid superintendents compared to others in New York State. The Daily Voice reports that Rhinebeck's Peter Mustich is the second highest paid in Westchester County and number 8 in New York State, not including New York City. Robert Chaps of Mamaroneck ranks 8 in the county and 32 in the state. Larchmont's 10538 zip code made the Forbes magazine list of the 500 most expensive zip codes in the United States. Weighing in at number 459 with a median home price around $936,000, Larchmont ranks 10th in Westchester County. You can read more about it in the patch. Also in the patch, NerdWallet.com names Mamaroneck a community on the rise. The study looked at growth in income, population, and employment and put Mamaroneck at number 14. No info on whether it's the town or village of Mamaroneck. It's listed as a city. With election season in full swing, The Loop tells voters to watch the League of Women Voters candidate debates and decide for yourself. Of course, the debate can be seen on LMC TV. Head to our website at lmctv.org. It's no day but October 20th for 2 former stars of the musical Rent. Adam Pascal and Anthony Rapp will perform live at the Emlyn Theater. According to the patch, it's that one evening, not 525,600 minutes. That's a reference for you Rent fans. And chocolates from Mamaroneck's Chocolations was named a favorite thing on NBC's Today Show. Kathy Lee Gifford gave the shout-out on the show's 4th hour. Sweet. And that's what's in the media this week. I'm Maura Carlin.
Hey guys, you're watching The Local Live. Stay tuned.
Woo!
Yeah.
So happy you stayed with us. I'm Michael Witch, and sitting next to me is Rebecca Berman, and this is our live section of The Local Live, and we have a singularly important guest and a singular topic tonight, and it's Mamaroneck Schools. But before I introduce our guest,
I just also want to welcome everyone to the show tonight, and if you want to reach out to us, you can email us, you can tweet us, you can call in, and we'll take your questions right here, right now on the show.
here's a little preview of what we're going to be talking about. Let's roll that video. You're watching a class at Mamaroneck High School taught by these students. These are exchange students from Shanghai, China. They recently visited the Mamaroneck schools, and Mamaroneck students will go there in the spring. We'll be talking about that. And computers in the classroom, part of the technology teaching that goes on, and we'll talk about how computers have changed the teaching. And Los Caminos, or Dos Caminos, I should say. This is the dual language program that's in its second year at Mamaroneck Avenue School. And those are just 3 of the many topics that we can address tonight. And our very special guest is Dr. Robert Chaps, Superintendent of Schools. Welcome.
My pleasure to be here.
I know you've got a busy schedule, so thanks for taking the time tonight.
It's a great opportunity to talk about what's happening in our schools at the start of the school year, and just to answer any questions that members of the community might have about what's happening in school.
You know, you're so practiced at doing this kind of thing. I think I can just say, go. You have 20 minutes to talk, but we won't do that. What did you tell teachers when they came back to school this year?
Well, it's a great opportunity. You have a captive audience. There's a lot of energy and excitement, and we focused really on three things. One, the new developments in brain research as it relates to social emotional learning. I think what's important is to understand that so-called the power of social emotional learning and emotional well-being, how that influences how we learn, the brain chemistry. And so what we tried to say is that the emphasis, and we have a big emphasis on social emotional learning, whether it's mindfulness, growth mindset, inner resilience, that has a spillover effect in terms of how students are able to learn and learn well. So,
is this new information?
It's not new. We've always believed this, but the MRI, the ability to really do research and look what's happening inside of us and know how that changes our brain chemistry is what's new. And it's exciting because you've heard of studies about how reading a good book has a dramatic impact on over the next few days of how you interact with the world. Similarly, how you feel, and certainly emotionally and socially, how you interact has an influence on how you learn as well. So that was one of the themes. I also talked about the idea of quality teaching. That there was a book out by Elizabeth Green that really focused on this idea of how do we improve teaching, and is it this idea of the sage on the stage versus the whole push for accountability. And we really talked about what does it mean to be a professional, to really have an impact on how students learn, and how do we build that capacity in our school system. And so we spent a lot of time looking and talking about teaching for authentic learning, teaching to children's passion and interest. And so that was the second theme. And I think the third is really to kind of appreciate the importance of the work we do and the impact we have on students from kindergarten through high school.
I think many people watching tonight already know, but I'm a retired teacher from the Mamaroneck schools, so full disclosure, I have a slight bias here, but I'll try to ask other interesting questions.
Certainly.
So how did the beginning of school go?
It's a great start to the year. We had a very busy summer. We were in year 2 completing a 9.5 capital bond, capital improvement. So it was really the second year where we were upgrading our HVAC, our plumbing and electrical systems in several schools, Chatsworth, taking out those original pipes and replacing them. So some big upgrades across the district. One of the challenges that we were committed to improving and replacing broken stairs at Murray Avenue. In fact,
that was one of our original emails that came in. Yes,
it's been on the minds. We had an opportunity to inform Murray residents and certainly parents at Murray School that unfortunately, and this happens typically over time when you do a lot of projects through the municipal bid process, that we were, unfortunately, we had to terminate the contract of the construction company working on that project, which caused a series of delays. And as we informed parents right before the start of school, we've had to adjust to really closing off that area, ensuring the safety of all students through working with the town in terms of the fire and zoning, and make adjustments in the schedule, and we hope to provide additional information. At this point, it's possible the project itself won't be completed until next summer.
Why can't that work be done while students are in school?
It's a great question. We're not suggesting it won't. Right now, it's really in the hands of attorneys and our surety, which is the bond company, which is really right now in control of the decision-making around getting a new contractor and/or giving guidance on the project. The good news is we haven't expended any funds on the project, given our concerns about the performance of the construction company. That being said, we need to protect protect the integrity of the site around teaching and learning. And so the work has to happen after school and weekends. And as you know, as we move closer into the winter with the reduced sunlight, it becomes a challenge for a company to come in and actually have a block of time to really make progress on the work. So to protect the school day, it looks like we'll make some decisions soon as we get more information on when we'll complete the project. But rest assured, we'll complete the project.
One of this viewer's other concerns that he's explaining here is he's worried about there being a fire hazard because there's so many exits closed.
Yeah, actually, you know, what's interesting is that before we can open school, and obviously the safety of children and staff are paramount, we have to meet the regulations. And we actually had additional work done, cleared out some front classroom areas to ensure that there was the appropriate egress. And that has been passed through, you know, the fire department in the town, and has certainly met the code for that.
Right. So that's been, safety has been addressed?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you, viewer, for that advanced email. And anybody else who has a question or a comment for Dr. Shaps, now's the time to send it to us or phone in, right?
Yes, it absolutely is.
Okay. I wanted to go back to the exchange program, the Chinese exchange program.
Wonderful. It's the third year of our arrangement with our sister school in Shanghai, Shanghai Experimental School. We had the opportunity to visit China 3 years ago and have formed a partnership with Shanghai Experimental, which is a wonderful school, both their upper school and their lower school. Our students, we have one of the oldest public school Chinese programs in America. And we offer that for our 6th grade through grade 12. And for the last 3 years, our students have been able to go to China to stay in host families, to really use and practice their Mandarin language skills, to really understand what it's like independently living in a family arrangement, to really forge some great friendships and attend school and visit the sites of China. So this past October, we had student visitors from Shanghai stay in the community with our students and their families.
Now, we have a little clip of some singing.
Wonderful.
Is this a folk song?
Yes, it is. We typically, when we go to China, they have a wonderful welcoming ceremony, and so it's almost like we are returning the favor by having the marching band greet them as they come off the bus, and have just this wonderful ceremony where the students get to, you know, just to meet each other and really honor the culture and the language of both our countries.
Let's give a listen. We have some pictures, and then we have some live video of the students singing at a board meeting. Did you join in the chorus there?
Well, I watched from afar, but I can tell you it was wonderful. I was there the first year in China and had a chance to really see what school life looks like for Chinese students. And I think what's important about our program is that we've been really tracking our graduates, and many, if not all, of our students who participate in this program continue in college to pursue Mandarin and Chinese language and either live or work in China for at least a year. So in one of our visits, we actually had some of our students who were in China, our graduates at part of a college program, who connected with our students while I was there. So it was great to see. It was wonderful.
That's great. Another program that the school district is rightly proud of is the dual language.
Yeah, this is the 2nd year of our dual language program, which is a district program housed in Mamaroneck Avenue School. We started with a cohort of 48 kindergarten students last year who are now in 1st grade. And we have our new cohort representing all 4 elementary schools, and it is exciting to watch. It's, you know, all the research about when best to learn a second language. But what's wonderful is that obviously our students alternate days in the Spanish zone and the English zone. We have 2 classes of 24 students who really are one large class.
And as you talk about this, we do have some photographs we can show. They'll be on the screen momentarily.
Yeah, it's exciting to see day to day the change and growth. And confidence of students. And our parents community have formed their own parent group, dual language parent group, and are really just excited by the opportunity. So our goal is to grow the program, kindergarten through grade 5, and this really comes out of the research on the success of dual language programs nationwide, and how students really appreciate not only becoming bilingual, bicultural, but how, again, it impacts their overall academic performance. So we're excited by it.
I said we have some pictures. I don't know if the control room is having a little difficulty getting them out, but this program is going to be expanded?
Yes, our goal is each year to, as the cohorts move through, it's to get through a K through 5 program.
There we are.
Yeah, and so it's just been a wonderful start, and we're very proud of it. And there are a number of dual language programs in our area, but obviously, you know, we're putting our local spin on it because some of them are 50-50, 80-20. There's no set rule, but we alternate instruction. So.
The Board of Education had a meeting, I think it was last week, and they talked about some pretty impressive results on test scores.
Yes, we have. As you know, we are in the midst of the transition to the Common Core, and that curriculum, which is really a national curriculum that has been adopted by New York State. And we have historically done quite well compared to our region. It's also become a political football. Absolutely.
There's some people running, in fact, it was Stop Common Core, I think, was a line that they were trying to get in the election.
Yeah, I would say two things. One, we're very proud of our performance, and with the change in the standards, how our district, across the district, our students have performed. My view is that we should focus on quality teaching and learning, and then students should do well on any form of assessment. We've also seen a growth over the last 5 years, a dramatic growth in our advanced placement courses, and a number of students who are participating in that rigorous program. And so we're very proud of that. As well as closing the achievement gap. We have focused in seeing a dramatic improvement in our graduation, high school graduation rate for all students, but also primarily for our Latino students. This meeting, we had the opportunity to talk about a 92% graduation rate for our Latino students in the last graduating cohort as well. But we, we're about to, and we had the opportunity at that meeting to introduce a data dashboard. The Board of Ed is committed to really providing a level of transparency, but also important information about important indicators, our demographic information over time, our test scores.
That's going to be available?
Yes, we hope to have it available live over the next 2 weeks. We previewed it last spring, made some changes. Last week the board was able to review it again. The goal there is to really track and provide information to our community about our performance. One of the areas that we're focusing on is student engagement, and so we've been looking at our student performance and participation in clubs and extra activities, athletics, because we know from the research that students actually do better in class by having the opportunity to participate in clubs and athletics as well.
Sure. Anything here? That no question?
No.
Okay, well, we'll just keep right on moving along there.
Absolutely.
The board also articulated some goals for this year?
Yes, we have several enduring goals, or the large, what I would say is the big focus for our school district. Obviously, student achievement is a big part of that, and we've set some ambitious goals around performance of students each year, and that continued at our last meeting. In addition to that, student engagement is as critically important as I mentioned, and so last year, our high school students participated in a survey of student engagement, and so we looked at the results in the summer and are about to set some goals about student engagement. Also, school climate is really important. We know that parents are involved in the life of our schools. This year, we're really focusing on continuing to open our schools in light of what I would say is security measures. How do we connect parents to the day-to-day activities of our schools? So we're looking at social media, Twitter, which I know is a big part of your show. But really to connect parents to the experiences that our students are having in our schools, which are really important. I think the other thing is on the minds of our community at large is fiscal sustainability, or financial sustainability. So we, through really our support of the Citizens Finance Advisory Committee and the expertise of citizens in the community, we're looking to develop long-term financial plans to think about how do we remain viable and relevant in terms of our programs. Another area that's important is community engagement, and we set very ambitious goals, again, around volunteerism and how do we have such interest and interesting lives of our community members, how do we connect them to the activities of the school? So I know that shortly we are going to commit ourselves to posting on our website a list of volunteer opportunities for community members, and the board is going on a listening tour. They're going to set up a series of neighborhood coffees in different elementary school areas to engage on a smaller scale our residents, our parents, to find what's on their mind as well.
It's a lot going on.
There always is.
You know what? I noticed that the website for the district has been revamped.
Yes.
It looks much better. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But also, I saw a video that you had produced, I guess it was last year.
Yes.
And you were very good.
Thank
I was
you.
Congratulating you before this show.
Yes.
I think you folks should do more of that, take advantage of that television technology that you've got
well,
over there.
We're certainly fortunate to have technology, LMC TV, and have our daily show in the studio in the high school. And so it is an important communication vehicle. I enjoy highlighting the work of our teachers, our professional staff, and our students. And certainly in the area of STEM last year, for example, we're doing a lot in computer science, app design, robotics. And so you can really talk about that and generate a lot of interest.
And isn't there a new program with iPads?
Yes, this is year 2 of our one-to-one initiative in grades 8, 9, and 10. And so students and staff have their iPad that is really supporting learning. And so it's not so much about the technology, it's about how do we think of school from 8 to 3 and 3 to 8 and provide what I would say is efficiencies for our students around the use of technology and how it influences their ability to learn, certainly in specific content areas.
I remember one of the teachers in that video, I think he's a Homics teacher, talked about flipping the classroom.
Yes, that is a wonderful, Mike Samataro and his colleagues.
Right.
It's really the idea of how do you set up learning outside of the classroom so that when students arrive, they could really focus in on what I would say authentic or engaged learning that allows students to prepare differently. So it's not like you're introducing content in the class and then trying to understand where students are at. It's giving that information and opportunity for students to learn independently outside and then taking advantage of their knowledge in the classroom through the flip model.
Our time is winding down, but
Already.
I'm wondering if there's I'm wondering if there's anything that you'd like specifically to mention that hasn't been mentioned yet.
Well, obviously our focus and I think our success as a school district is really predicated on the professionals, the quality of our teachers and teaching. And so our emphasis is on high quality professional development. And really this year I would say is our emphasis on authentic learning. How do we really have deep, rich understanding for our students and staff?
Good.
So thank you.
Well, Dr. Schaps, thank you so much again
Thank
for
you.
coming down and spending, well, I guess it's about half hour with us. And anybody who's got a follow-up question who didn't get a chance to ask it,
It'd be my pleasure.
you said you only get about a couple emails a day.
Please
I'm
call,
kidding.
email, and stop by.
Okay, thanks
Thank you.
again.
Thank you.
And don't go away. There is more of the Local Live coming up right after this message.
Stay tuned. The Local Live will be right back.
The first annual Harbor Island International Beer Festival was held on Saturday, where residents were encouraged to celebrate and enjoy beers from all around the world. Here's Erica Lynn with more on this exciting event.
Hey guys, I'm Erica Lynn. Who doesn't love a good beer? I'm here with John.
Who loves a good beer?
I love a good beer. We're here at Harbor Island where the biggest international beer fest is taking place. John, I've got my cup, my VIP wristband. Are we good to go?
We're good to go.
All right, let's do this.
Harbor Island Park was home to more than 150 craft brews this past Saturday. Organized by Halftime, President and CEO Alan Daniels explains why.
And most people don't travel Hoyt Avenue, so they don't really know that we are a retailer in town. So we said, what better way to let people know that we exist? Let's have a big beer festival and tell people that we are 3,696 feet away from the festival.
This first annual International Beer Fest covered everything from IPAs, ciders, and of course, the trending fall brews.
What's your name?
John.
Hi, John. Can I have some River Horse Pumpkin beer? Where are you guys from?
We're out of Ewing, New Jersey right now.
I was lucky enough to have 2 lieutenants in the United States Army volunteer as my tour guides.
That's really good. I'll take some more, please.
Making new friends left and right, Russell tells me about his experience.
I'm actually really enjoying the assortment of breweries here. I didn't learn about this until yesterday, but I'm very happy that my friend told me about it. And I'm very happy to meet you. And clearly, I'm enjoying the beers.
Clearly. Have you eaten anything, or is there any food?
I did.
He directs me to the nearest salt-covered, mustard-dipping soft pretzel. Don't feel like buying one? You can always make your own. Belly full of beer and bread, it was off for a little game of cornhole.
And let's hit this shot and let's go.
Not too bad for a first try.
That was
yes,
good.
fun and games. However, safety was key.
We have actually 2 teams of security. We have the local Village of Mamaroneck police here, and we also have a private security company as per the State Liquor Authority. There's 15 people here that are checking IDs as people come through. We're doing age verification, and we have another team undercover that is working around all the booths to make sure that we're not overpouring.
Although few and far between, I managed to find another female.
Cheers to the women at the beer fest.
There's, of course, plenty of water for the ride home. Erica Lynn for the Local Live.
You're watching the Local Live on LMC TV.
Meet our pet of the week, Romeo, an extremely handsome and very distinctive male cat who deserves his romantic name. He is large, short-haired tabby with big eyes that grab your attention. He is friendly, enjoys being petted, and he loves human attention. Romeo would be fine as a single cat in your household. He's up to date on shots, neutered, and microchipped. To adopt him, please email petrescueny@aol.com or call 914-834-6955. With a name like Romeo, I'm sure he's good with the lady pups as well. Unfortunately, we have reached the end of our show. Tune in next Thursday, though, for a special live interview with cancer survivor Leslie Joselle, who is coming to give us some practical advice on how to be vigilant at doctor's appointments. And of course, if you missed this broadcast, you can tune in any night this week at 7:30 p.m. to watch again, Channel 75 on Cablevision and 36 on Verizon. As always, for LMC TV, I'm Anthony Carlo. We'll see you next week.
Tell us what you think. In person, over the phone, online. Watch and hear yourself on TV. You tell us, we air it. This is the Local Live.